The connection between art and antiquities and terrorism. Recent history will show very, very clearly that the amount of destruction that Iraq and Syria went through with ISIS, and they destroyed countless pieces of antiquities and art, and were very public about doing it. But on the other side of the house, they were also selling art illegally, and then taking that money to finance their ongoing operations. And if you think that a piece of art could be sold for vast amounts of money, the cost to launch a terrorist attack could be very, very minimal. Depending on the attack, it could be a person with a knife, it could be a person driving a car, it could be a person with some form of weapon. So in reality, breaking property down and selling it on, and then giving it to a person who's a terrorist, it doesn't cost much money to launch a terrorist attack. It costs next to nothing. So from that point of view, the use of art and antiquities, certainly within Iraq and Syria, did fund terrorism. The journey of an antiquity from where it's stolen in the first place and where it ends up, because the money's involved and there has to be organisation to get an item from one jurisdiction into another jurisdiction without being caught. So that's organisations, and that brings a level of criminality. So the persons involved in these organisations, they're not just doing art and antiquities, they could be doing other forms of contraband, weapons, or whatever that crime type is. So they're using the same methodologies to move the art and antiquities from point A to point B. Where it comes to a different jurisdiction, I should say, where it becomes different is that the selling of that antiquity. So I'll give you a very quick example. If you want to sell your camera, and your camera's got serial numbers on it and it can be identifiable, it's ready identifiable. A coin or an antiquity that's taken from the ground and smuggled into Europe or the USA, because that's where the big markets are. It has no serial numbers, it's not identifiable, other than the fact it's an antiquity. But we can say where it came from, how it got there. So what happens within the crime network is that somebody will give it false history, a false provenance, to make it look like it's been in the country for X amount of years, so it can be sold legally. That's how it works. And to do that, you have to have people at all levels of the chain who are corrupt. So it could be dealers, it could be people working, lawyers, it could be anybody. That's the nature of organised crime. It's involved in all sections of society. The importance of having the conference in Cairo is really quite simple. Egypt and Cairo is a global recognised centre for arts and antiquities. Historically, it has suffered huge losses. Items have been looted for generations here. They're in museums. There's lots of cases where items have been returned, have been looted, and this continues to this day. Items are stolen here and exported and go into a chain. It's a criminal enterprise, it's an organised enterprise. So why do we need everybody else involved? Very simply, because law enforcement, prosecutors, private sectors such as the museums, the financial institutions, the banks, they're all in the chain when it comes to money laundering. So unless we all talk together, work together, share information, share intelligence, and identify the assets of the wrongdoers, the criminals, then we're never going to make any progress against this. So financial investigations, and particular at the EU Global Facility, where our focus is on financial investigations, but it's also on about drawing all the expertise within that penal chain. So it's not just one sector, it's not just police, it's not just prosecutors, it's not just customs, it's not the banks, it's not financial institutions, it's everything. And working in its totality, you will get the best results. So we have to share information, we have to share experience, we have to share intelligence, we have to bring matters to court, and we have to try and confiscate the assets or raise this awareness so it's common practice within the whole region, no matter the crime type, not just art and antiquities, but every crime type. So this use of financial legislation and investigative techniques and methodologies are used as a matter of course as opposed to special occasions.